The PS2 era was full of first-person shooters that set the stage for what we see in games today. Sure, the graphics might look a little dated now, but the gameplay and the wide variety of experiences these titles offer are still excellent. Whether you like fast-paced action or tactical gameplay, there's a first-person shooter on PS2 that will keep you entertained in this video. There is something special about Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1, a game that really captures the intensity of World War II combat. It's not just about shooting, it's about experiencing the journey of the US Army's 1st Infantry Division, the Big Red 1, as they fight across Europe and North Africa. You're right there in the thick of it, with bullets whizzing past your head and explosions shaking the ground. The game does an incredible job of immersing you in these epic battles, with cinematic moments that feel like they're ripped straight from a war movie. Medal of Honor Frontline takes you on a harrowing journey through some of the most iconic battles of World War II, starting with the unforgettable D-Day landing. From the moment you step onto Omaha Beach, the game pulls you into its world with a mix of historical authenticity and thrilling gameplay. The level design is superb, offering a blend of open battlefields and more focused, intense missions behind enemy lines. Medal of Honor European Assault does something special by giving you more control over your missions and objectives, offering a more open-ended approach than previous entries. You're still in the thick of World War II, but this time, you're given the freedom to tackle missions in the order you choose, which adds a nice strategic layer to the game. The levels are designed with multiple paths and objectives, so you can approach each mission in a way that suits your playstyle. Black is the kind of game that knows exactly what it wants to be, an all-of-action-packed shooter with an emphasis on destructive environments. From the moment you pick up the controller, it's clear that the developers wanted to make every bullet feel impactful. The level of detail in the destruction is impressive for a PS2 game. Walls crumble, vehicles explode, and entire buildings can be brought down with enough firepower. The gameplay is fast-paced and intense, with a focus on big, bombastic gunfights that keep you on the edge of your seat. TimeSplitters 2 is one of those games that just oozes creativity and charm. It takes you on a wild ride through different time periods, from the Wild West to the far future, each with its own unique style and weapons. The variety in settings and missions keep the gameplay fresh and exciting, and the game doesn't take itself too seriously, which adds to the fun. The multiplayer mode is where TimeSplitters 2 really shines, offering a wealth of maps, modes, and customizable options that keep you coming back for more. When it comes to sheer fun and variety, TimeSplitters Future Perfect is hard to beat. It builds on everything that made TimeSplitters 2 great, with even more levels, characters, and weapons to mess around with. The story mode is a blast, taking you through different time periods and throwing all sorts of crazy scenarios your way, from zombie outbreaks to sci-fi showdowns. The humor is spot on, with plenty of clever writing and memorable characters to keep you entertained. And just like its predecessor, Future Perfect really shines in its multiplayer mode. Killzone was Sony's big answer to Halo, and while it might not have been the Halo killer some people were expecting, it still delivered a solid and atmospheric shooter experience. Set in a dystopian future where two factions are locked in a brutal war, the game stands out with its gritty, realistic tone and heavy emphasis on tactical gameplay. The environments are bleak and oppressive, perfectly capturing the war-torn world the game is set in. Red Faction 2 takes the destruction to a whole new level with its innovative geo-mode technology, which lets you blow holes in walls, floors, and pretty much anything else in your way. This opens up a ton of possibilities in combat, as you can create your own paths, ambush enemies, or just wreak havoc on your surroundings. The game's single-player campaign is a bit more straightforward than its predecessor, focusing on a more traditional linear narrative, but the action is just as intense. James Bond 007 Nightfire delivers that classic Bond experience, blending first-person shooting with sci gadgets, fast cars, and exotic locations. You get to play through an original story that feels like it could be a Bond movie, complete with over-the-top villains, stunning set pieces, and plenty of action. The variety in gameplay is a big draw here. 1 minute you're sneaking through enemy bases, the next you're in a high-speed car chase, and then you're taking out enemies with a sniper rifle from a distance. James Bond 007 Agent Under Fire might not have the same big-budget feel as some other Bond games, but it nails the essence of what makes Bond so cool. The game offers a mix of first-person shooting, driving, and gadget-based puzzles, all wrapped up in a story that feels like a classic Bond adventure. The shooting mechanics are solid, and the gadgets add a fun layer of strategy to the gameplay. The driving sequences are a blast, with high-speed chases and explosion galore. Half-Life on the PS2 might not have been the first place players experienced Gordon Freeman's epic journey, but it still managed to capture the essence of what made the game a landmark in the genre. The blend of storytelling and action was revolutionary, for its time seamlessly integrating the narrative into the gameplay without taking you out for the experience. The level design is masterful, guiding you through the game's various environments while keeping the action intense and the pacing perfect. The Operative, No One Lives Forever is a game that doesn't take itself too seriously, and that's part of its charm. Set in the 1960s, it's a spy thriller with a tongue-in-cheek attitude, full of colorful characters, witty dialogue, and a whole lot of style. You play as Kate Archer, a British spy who's equal parts badass and witty, taking on missions that mix stealth, action, and a bit of humor. The game's level design encourages a mix of different approaches, whether you want to go in guns blazing or sneak around and use gadgets to get the job done. Quake III Revolution brings the fast-paced, arena-based action of Quake III Arena to the PS2, delivering a multiplayer-focused shooter that's all about reflexes and strategy. There's no story here, just pure, unfiltered action as you face off against bots or other players in a variety of arenas. The controls are tight and responsive, making it easy to jump in and start fragging your opponents, but mastering the game's mechanics takes time and practice. Unreal Tournament is a game that's all about speed, precision, and sheer adrenaline. It's one of those shooters where every second counts, and a single mistake can cost you the match. The game's fast-paced action and tight controls make it incredibly satisfying to play, whether you're going head-to-head with bots or facing off against other players. Delta Force Black Hawk Down takes you into the heart of modern warfare with missions based on the real-life events of the 1993 Battle of Mogadishu. The game does a great job of capturing the intensity and chaos of urban combat with a focus on teamwork and tactics. You're not just running and gunning here, you need to think strategically, work with your squad, and use cover effectively to survive. The game's large, open environments give you plenty of room to maneuver, and the AI is smart enough to keep you on your toes. Brothers in Arms Road to Hill 30 offers a more tactical approach to the World War II shooter genre, putting you in command of a squad as you fight through the Normandy campaign. The game's emphasis on squad tactics sets it apart from other shooters, as you need to coordinate with your team, laying down suppressive fire, flanking enemies, and using cover to your advantage. The story, based on real events, adds a level of emotional depth, as you get to know your squad mates and feel the weight of the sacrifices. Brothers in Arms Earned in Blood continues the story of the 101st Airborne Division, offering more of the same tactical gameplay that made Road to Hill 30 such a standout. The game builds on its predecessor with improved AI, more challenging missions, and a deeper focus on squad-based tactics. You're constantly thinking on your feet, adjusting your strategy to outmaneuver the enemy and keep your squad alive. Battlefield 2 Modern Combat brings the large-scale, team-based warfare that this series is known for the PS2, offering a variety of modern combat scenarios to fight through. The game's focus on multiplayer is where it really shines, with massive maps, a wide range of vehicles, and a mix of infantry and vehicular combat that keeps things dynamic and exciting. The hot swap feature is a standout, allowing you to jump between soldiers on the battlefield, giving you a strategic overview of the action and letting you adapt to changing situations on the fly. Project Snowblind is a game that blends the fast-paced action of a first-person shooter with the tactical depth of a cyberpunk setting. You play as Nathan Frost, a soldier with cybernetic enhancements fighting in a futuristic war where technology is as important as firepower. The game's variety of weapons and abilities keeps the combat fresh and exciting, as you can hack enemy systems, deploy drones, or go in guns blazing. Ghost Recon is a game that puts a premium on realism and tactical gameplay, setting you up as the leader of an elite military unit tasked with carrying out covert operations around the world. The game's emphasis on planning and strategy sets it apart from more run-and-gun shooters, as you need to carefully coordinate your team's movements, choose the right weapons for the job, and execute your plan with precision. Rainbow Six Siege is all about precision, strategy, and teamwork. As the leader of an elite counter-terrorism unit, you're tasked with tasking down terrorists in a variety of tense, high-stake missions. The game's emphasis on planning before each mission is crucial, as you need to choose the right gear, set up your team's entry points, and coordinate your attack to ensure success. The gameplay is intense and unforgiving, with a single mistake potentially costing you the mission. Rainbow Six Lockdown takes the series' tactical gameplay and adds a bit more of an action-oriented twist. While the planning and strategy are still important, the game gives you more direct control during missions, allowing for faster, more dynamic gameplay. The story is more focused this time around, with a narrative that ties the missions together and gives you a stronger sense of purpose. Urban Chaos Riot Response puts you in the shoes of Nick Mason, a member of the T0 Riot response team tasked with bringing order to a city overrun by gangs and chaos. The game's setting is gritty and intense, with missions that have you taking on waves of heavily armed enemies in urban environments. The gameplay is fast-paced and action-packed, with a focus on using a variety of weapons and tactics to take down your foes. Cold Winter is a game that combines first-person shooting with a gripping, spy-thrilling narrative. You play as Andrew Sterling, a British operative caught up in a global conspiracy, and the game takes you on a journey through a variety of exotic locations from icy Siberia to the scorching deserts of North Africa. The gameplay is solid, with tight shooting mechanics and a variety of weapons to choose from. Serious Sam Next Encounter is all about pure, unadulterated action. There's no deep story here, just you, a massive arsenal of weapons, and wave after wave of enemies to mow down. The game's sense of scale is impressive, with huge levels filled with hordes of enemies coming at you from all directions. The gameplay is fast and frantic, with a focus on strafing, dodging, and shooting as you try to survive the onslaught. SWAT, Global Strike Team, puts you in command of an elite special forces unit tasked with taking down terrorists and rescuing hostages in a variety of intense, high-stake missions. The game's emphasis on teamwork and strategy sets it apart from more run-and-gun shooters, as you need to carefully coordinate your team's movements, choose the right equipment for the job, and execute your plan with precision. The game's environments are varied and detailed, offering plenty of opportunities for tactical play, whether you're breaching doors, setting up ambushes, or taking out enemies from a distance. Warhammer 40,000 Fire Warrior takes you into the grim-dark universe of Warhammer 40,000, where you play as a fire warrior for the Tau Empire, fighting against the forces of the Imperium. The game's setting is rich with lore, offering a glimpse into the brutal, war-torn galaxy of Warhammer 40,000. The gameplay is fast-paced and action-packed, with a variety of weapons and abilities to use against the enemies of the Tau. The game's environments are dark and oppressive, capturing the bleak, dystopian tone of the Warhammer universe. So did you like the games I recommend? So leave your likes, subscribe to the channel to follow me and activate the bell, because I post a lot of videos on this channel and you can't miss it. Thank you very much for following me this far, and until next time, bye!